carbon is a very important part of a refiltration system. You do see a few tanks running without carbon, and you can get a similar effect by running heavy levels of UV or by running ozone. But I'm a big fan of carbon. It's cheap, it's easy to use, and it does quite a lot of benefits. So let's see what the benefits are to it, and you'll be able to see why it's such a good idea to have it. Carbon can remove quite a lot of toxins from the water. It can trap some heavy metals, some organics, especially long chain molecules, so things like things from aerosol sprays and things like that. So it can remove a lot of toxins from the tank, primarily toxins that shouldn't be in the tank in the first place and have snuck their way in. The carbon will block them up, and sometimes that can make a difference in saving the tank and not. Secondly, corals need stable conditions. The more stable the conditions are, the better adapted to those conditions they are, and the better the growth rates would be. And one of the things that can vary quite a lot is light levels reaching the coral. Now, even in very clear water, it's not unusual for the par to half every 12 inches, and with even a tiny tint of the water, the par can half every 6 inches. So even a tiny amount of yellow organic dyes in the water will seriously dent the amount of light reaching your corals. So you've spent a lot of money on light, only to find that virtually most of it isn't getting anywhere near the corals that you want to, and worst of all, if your tank is getting yellowing up and then going clear and yellowing up and going clear, they're having to adapt to constantly varying conditions as well. So carbon will pull those organic dyes out of the water, especially if you are feeding a lot of flake or pellet food, which is quite heavy on dyes, or if you are growing macroalgae, which often release quite a large amount of organic dyes into the water as well. So carbon is very important on keeping that water crystal clear, because not only will your tank look a lot better, but you'll get massively improved growth rate on your coral as well. That massively improved growth rate on your coral is going to far outweigh the cost of carbon. So actually buying carbon actually saves you money, because you're going to grow more coral than that carbon cost you. So by not using carbon, you're actually hurting yourself financially there. So it's worth doing for that. Also, soft corals release little stinging cells into the water called nematocysts, and these are like little sea mines. They float around in the water, and when they bump into another coral, they sting it and they damage the coral and they reduce the growth on it. And this is how soft corals in particular wage war on one another in dominance for space or areas. Well, carbon traps those nematocysts and removes those from the water too. So that also massively improves growth, which is again another good thing. So in a coral tank, you can see it massively pays for itself very quickly. But also you end up with very clear water. It removes any odour from the aquarium as well, and makes it just much more pleasant aquarium all round. I wouldn't put carbon into a reactor personally, because if you tumble it, you can get fine dust off it, and that can cause you problems. I would just run it in a bag in one of the later sections of your sump, or towards the end of your external or internal filter. After all your mechanical and biological filtration, just run the carbon there in a bag, and I would suggest running about a pint, which is about 500 ml, to about 500 litres. So about 1 ml per litre roughly, and change that out once a month. Now when you change your carbon out, leave the old one in. Okay, so on week 1, month 1, put carbon number 1 in. On month 2, put carbon number 2 in, but leave 1 in. And on month 3, you put 3 in, keep 2 in, and then pull 1. So there's always 1 old and 1 new. So that way you're getting every last scrap of use out of the old one, but there's still a new one to ensure that the job gets done. Carbon also makes a great source of living space for denitrifying bacteria as well. So by keeping that old carbon in, that also helps some biological stability, and that can cross across to colonise the new carbon as well. Colonising with bacteria does limit its effectiveness a little bit, but you gain on the bacterial side and you lose a little on the filtration side. It kind of balances out. And if you're running 1 ml per litre and changing it monthly, then you should have plenty of space anyway. So I highly recommend it, and make sure you check out all our other videos in the Ask James series.